features that I'm going to demonstrate for you on the WASP II are the same features that we have on our Honeybee machine, also available through Northwoods, except that the Honeybee has the added feature of a knee switch so that you can go on and off with the running of the machine instead of running continually like the WASP does. First thing that I'd like to tell you about is the WASP is self-cleaning. That means that all the materials as you work drop straight through the bottom, so you have no problems with buildup of needles or pine pitch or anything like that. The machine runs continually as you work. We have a variable speed switch on it, and the variable speed switch is very nice because if you're a novice roper, you can start out working slowly and build your confidence. And then once you really know what you're doing, you can turn it up and work much faster. A experienced roping maker is able to make about 1,500 feet of roping in a day. We run a 24 gauge wrapping wire, and the wrapping wire is very easy to load. You have a cotter pin and simply put it right on the spool there. Replace your cotter pin and your wire runs through a self-tensioner right between the washers like this, and then you're able to tighten that down. The nice thing about being able to tighten up your wrapping wire is that when you work with a variety of materials, if you're working with white pine, which is very thin, or Fraser fir, which is a thicker bough, you're able to adjust the tension, and so that no matter what you're working with to create your roping, you'll be very tightly wound and you'll create a quality product. A nice thing about our tensioner also is the wire runs over a ceramic core. The best thing about the ceramic core is that it does not groove or wear out. So once I start work, I set my tension to where I want it to be. It doesn't loosen or wear out. The entire work day, my tension will remain at the same tightness. We use a 17 gauge fence wire as a core material. Now certainly you could use simply a twine as your core material, but for large lengths of roping, this is a more sturdy and a nicer way to hang your garlands. We run our fencing wire through our counter. The best thing about having a counter is that I can come into work in the morning and I can tell my crew I want all 25-foot rolls of garland, and they can simply set their counter to 0, run the material through, and get to work. When they reach 25 feet, they know it by the counter. They can cut it off and start the next piece. So it's really a labor-saving device. To begin our garland, what we want to do is simply take that core material, pull it through the center. We like to create a little bit of a handle. We'll simply take the end piece, wrap it like this, and there I've got a little bit of a handle. When I finish my garland, I'll do that at the other end. The handle is very nice. It helps our workers out in the field when they go to roll the garland up for shipping, and also when a homeowner gets the garland at home, they have something to hang on to it with. So it's a nice little way to start out. What I'd like to do now that I've created my little handle on the end is reach in and take my 24 gauge wrapping wire and just pull it through to make sure that at the very beginning of making my garland, I've got it hooked onto the center core wire. And now we'll begin to work. I'm going to turn on the variable speed switch. I'm going to let it run at a low speed to begin with. Then what I'll do is take my materials, and as I place them in, I'm going to keep in mind that I want to create a two-faced garland today. So the piece that I put in first will be green side face up. The next piece that I put in will be green side face down and staggered. And I'll continue to place the materials in my machine face up and face down and staggering them as I go along. And I'll continue to feed my bows in this way. Green side up, green side down, green side up, green side down. As I put them in, I'll allow the machine to make 2 or 3 good wraps, and then I'll slightly pull the garland towards me. The pulling action is what gives me my length and also controls how thick or thin my garland is. If you're ready, here we go. Now, as you can see, I've just wrapped my hand up in the wrapping wire. I did that on purpose because I wanted you to see that really there's no harm to you if you do happen to get your hand up inside. Quite often people are concerned that they may become injured if they happen to get a finger up in there. I have a little oil on my hand, but there's no harm beyond that. there we have a nice garland. One of the specialty items that we'd like to show you that you can make from your WASP roping machine is a swag. Our common swag is 18 inches long, and so what we do is go through and just cut a handful of brush approximately 18 inches long, and as you can see, what I've done is mixed my boughs. I have balsam and I have a nice cedar. I'm simply going to take the wrapping wire that we had and give it one little wrap around the end of it. This swag does not require a core material, so it's a very simple process. I'm going to turn the machine on and let you see what we're doing. As you can see, I let the machine wrap 7 or 8 times because we want to make sure we have a good tight wrap on our swag so that it doesn't pop loose later. I cut the end of the wrapping wire. I'm going to tuck it into the end of my swag, and there I have my finished swag. Then very quickly, to finish the swag off, here at Northwoods we like to take a couple of painted cones and simply wrap them with the wire onto the swag body. And then one of our nice red velvet bows. Then to finish the swag off, we have one more step which requires our clippers. I'm simply going to take my clippers and nip off the top part of all of these twigs. As you can see, that took me about 30 seconds, and in 30 seconds I've created a beautiful accessory piece.